That's true. Hey, new at 5 o'clock, bad bread plagues a second fast food favorite. Whataburger just pulled its white buns and Texas toast from restaurants all across the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Kevin Reese is in our newsroom. So, Kevin, unlike In-N-Out, Whataburger did not shut down.
Well, that's right. And the funny thing is multiple people on social media made fun of In-N-Out the last 2 days. Whataburger would never have this problem, one person wrote. Well, today they do. Whataburger announced today it removed white buns and Texas toast from some restaurants in DFW, East and West Texas, Oklahoma, and Northwest Arkansas. They call it a quality issue from one of their suppliers, calling it an impact on our buns flavor caused by an unbalance in their yeast. I think they meant imbalance, but we all get the idea. But the stores stay open with the option of a wheat bun, a flour tortilla, or going bunless if you choose. Again, their choice of words, not mine. Now, In-N-Out essentially shut down both Monday and Tuesday, saying their buns specifically in Texas did not meet their quality standards. There would seem to be a connection. Both Whataburger and In-N-Out have not publicly, however, revealed who their supplier is. And one other company is getting roped into a lot of the social media conversation about this, IHOB or IHOP, whatever you call it now. One Facebook commenter said, "Is IHOB behind this?" While another says, "It's called karma, my fellow Tejanos. Be nice to the Californians and blame IHOB." Either way, both companies, Whataburger and In-N-Out, apologize for the inconvenience and say this has never been a health risk, just a matter of taste. And one other comment to one of my colleagues just got off the phone with Raising Cane's. Their stores now say they're being impacted by this as well and pulling their Texas toast off the shelf, so to speak. So keep watching this. We'll have more on this tonight at 10 o'clock. Live in the newsroom, Kevin Reese, Channel 8 News.
All right. Thank you, Kevin. A Dallas police officer